The Miami Dolphins continue to add an NFL free agency, and on this episode, I'm going to talk about the latest signing that Chris Grier made to this Dolphins roster, and I actually think it's a sneaky good one upon review. You may ask, who did the Dolphins sign? I'm not going to waste your time here. They went with a tight end, Pharaoh Brown, signing a one-year deal with the Miami Dolphins. This is a journeyman tight end who has played for 7 NFL teams. He's played for the Browns, the Texans, Raiders, Seahawks, Patriots, and now he joins the Miami Dolphins. I made a short about this earlier, which is why you need to be subscribed, because we cover every single piece of Dolphins news. We are on the road to 69K subscribers. Very nice. But let's get to 68,100 on today's show. Join the channel for up-to-date news on every single piece of Dolphins news. All right, and initially that short that I put out on Pharaoh Brown, I was a little bit on the deal, if I'm going to be honest. I thought it was a non-moving part to me, like a fighting guy for a roster spot. Listen, I remember just a year ago, I was excited for Jody Fortson Jr., and he ultimately was released before the end of training camp. Well, I actually think Pharaoh Brown could have a pretty good chance to potentially be your tight end 2 or even your tight end 3 when you talk about this official 53-man roster that is made at the end of August, because he is someone that I think Mike McDaniel will value very, very high. And the receiving numbers are not gaudy. They are not going to excite you. As I mentioned, he has bounced around teams consistently on one-year deals, spent 2024 with Seattle, 2023 with New England, 2022 with a mix of Cleveland and Houston, and 2021 he was with the Texans as well. Like, he is someone that is not going to be unbelievable in the passing game. He's not going to go out there and be an elite tight end too. Now, in terms of receiving. But the thing is like, that's not what Miami needs him to be. Sure, it would be cool to have 2 tight ends that can be big-time threats in the passing game, but it's not like Miami had that last season. Hell, they even haven't had a good tight end outside of Jonnu Smith in the past 5 or 6 seasons. Yeah, Mike Gesicki had a couple decent seasons in Miami, but they've been having to deal with borderline below average tight end play for the entire tenure Mike McDaniel has been head coach, outside of last season where Jonnu Smith set single season franchise records in receiving yards and receptions. But Pharaoh Brown is an extremely good blocking tight end, which is something we know Mike McDaniel values at a premium. That is why Durham Smythe has been on the roster for as long as he has been. That's why Julian Hill is currently still employed by the Miami Dolphins. If Mike McDaniel and this Dolphins coaching staff believes you can block in both the pass and running game as a tight end, you will find the ability to have a roster spot in Miami. And I think Brown actually is exceptional at blocking. We'll show you some of the numbers in just a second. But let me know your one-word reaction to the Dolphins signing Pharaoh Brown. Miami has made a lot of one-year signings in free agency. Zach Wilson, you've seen KJ Britt, Alexander Madison. We'll talk about some of these players at the end of today's video. But let me know your one-word reaction to Pharaoh Brown being the latest Dolphins signing. My one-word reaction? Physical, because that is how Pharaoh Brown plays. When you turn on the film, you watch his highlights in the run game, in the blocking game, he is someone that will pop out to you. Miami needed another inline tight end, and especially with how weak the Dolphins' offensive line has been and projects to be, even though I like James Daniels, it's still the weakest part of their team right now until I get proven otherwise. It is good to have an extra guy you could bring in to help block in both pass and run plays. And you look at his career, at least the last 5 seasons, in terms of his run blocking grades and his pass blocking grades via Pro Football Focus, he is at least above average. Now, these aren't going to wow you. They're not going to jump off the screen. But remember, tight ends aren't the best at this anyway, right? In 2020, he was very good. He was solid in 2023. Not as good in 2024. But you talk specifically about that 2023 season for Pharaoh Brown. He was actually graded in total, when you take away just individual pass blocking and run blocking and just overall blocking grades with everything considered, he was actually graded out as the 9th best blocking tight end by Pro Football Focus in 2023. So there is good stuff there, and there is film that this Dolphins front office and coaching staff clearly liked, which is why they wanted to go out and add Pharaoh Brown. Now, I am not going to come up here and say that I believe he is going to be some otherworldly signing that is just an ultimate difference maker, but I could absolutely see Pharaoh Brown replacing Julian Hill, and the Dolphins ultimately draft a tight end on late day 2 or early day 3 of the NFL draft, and that's how this Dolphins tight end room kind of shapes up. I think Julian Hill is someone that Miami should release. Pharaoh Brown, I think, is at least on par with Hill in terms of their blocking abilities, if not a little bit better. I think Pharaoh Brown is a better pass catcher than Julian Hill as well, even though I don't think that's hard to do. You draft a solid tight end like Mason Taylor, Gunnar Helm, Elijah Arroyo in day 2, or some of these early day 3 targets like Luke Locke from Iowa. There's a lot of good draft available tight ends. You draft one of them, and you have a room of Jonnu, that rookie, and Pharaoh Brown. Yeah, those are 3 tight ends that I can probably get behind on a pretty strong basis. All right, we're going to shift the attention to what else Miami has done and what they could do. But we are sponsored by Mando, the #1 whole body deodorant that I use that makes sure I am smelling right. And it is spring cleaning time. And to be honest, I'm excited for this kind of year. Mando's whole body deodorant gives me confidence when I leave the house. Mando is safe to use anywhere on your body. It was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO is being misdiagnosed and mistreated. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products to your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, plus free shipping. I have a product in studio with me today because if you watched our stuff, I don't go anywhere without it. That would be the deodorant wipes. Whether I'm going on a trip to visit friends, family, or just a vacation, I always got the deodorant wipes with me because they're perfect for travel. But I also carry them in my car as well, just in case I'm running errands and I need a little bit of a freshen up. Deodorant wipes are there, and they are perfect. And as a special offer for listeners, new customers can get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code CHAT. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack when you use code CHAT at shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. All right, I wanted to circle back and look at every move the Dolphins have made in NFL free agency to this point. And the first real signing that they made was Zach Wilson, the quarterback, former 2nd overall pick from the New York Jets, backup for Bo Nix in Denver last year. He will join the Dolphins system as the backup to Tua Tagovailoa and project for Mike McDaniel on a 1-year, $6 million deal. I am a fan of this move. I know he is a divisive figure between Dolphins fans, but I think he is a high-end backup. Considering everything he's gone through and what Miami has had over the past 3 seasons, he's certainly an upgrade. Then 2 offensive linemen, James Daniels, Larry Borum. Daniels, 3 years, $24 million, only a $4 million cap hit this season, which is very, very solid. He is going to be your starting right guard in between Austin Jackson and Aaron Brewer. Then some interesting ones on the next page of the leaderboard. Ifeatu Melifonwu, the safety from the Detroit Lions. He is going to be your safety number 2, safety number 3. We'll see how his battle with Ashton Davis in training camp in the offseason ultimately shakes out. But I am kind of bullish on Melifonwu's ability to come in and work in this Weaver system if he can stay healthy. And then this signing right here, Nick Westbrook-Ikiti, I think is still flying underneath the radar for not only Dolphins fans, but for NFL fans in general. 6'2", 211. Dolphins needed a big-bodied wide receiver to be a threat in the red zone and stretch the field to complement Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. He will provide that, but very similar to Pharaoh Brown, Westbrook-Ikiti, also one of the more physical blocking wide receivers out there, and we know that you need to be able to do that in the Dolphin system. He is going to be someone you see in motion quite a bit, helping in the run game when the Dolphins want to run the football. Then some good signings here, in my opinion. Tyrell Dodson, Ashton Davis. Davis came back on a 1-year, or comes into the building on a 1-year, $2.5 million deal. He is going to compete for that safety number 2, safety 3 spot with Melifonwu. Tyrell Dodson returning to the Dolphins on a 2-year, $8 million deal, so he'll be linebacker 2 for the Miami Dolphins alongside Jordan Brooks. And then you saw 2 camp bodies here, D. Eskridge and Jackson Carman. And the 4 most recent signings for Miami. KJ Britt, 1-year deal. This happened on Thursday morning. He's going to be your linebacker 3, but also a solid run-stopping linebacker to the point where I would expect him to be in on goal line packages, maybe over Tyrell Dodson, and in 3rd and short, 4th and short situations. Miami got their RB3 in Alexander Madison. A lot of mixed reviews on Madison. Struggled inside the 5-yard line last season, but did convert a lot of 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 opportunities over the past 2 seasons for Minnesota and Las Vegas. 5'11", 220, so he is a physical running back. Liam Eichenberg returns, which just is an absolute disaster. Watch my video, watch my short if you want my expanded thoughts on him. And then the most recent signing, Pharaoh Brown, joining this Dolphins roster. So after the 12 signings that Miami has made thus far, this is where I think things stand in terms of updated Dolphins needs. 1A and 1B to me. Defensive line and cornerback. Miami still only has 1 defensive lineman on a standard contract. That being Zach Sealer. I think they are hoping and expecting to get Calais Campbell back in free agency. But listen, that is no guarantee. But if they do bring him back, that would be a home run signing. They still need to add more to that room behind Calais Campbell and Zach Sealer. They also need a CB2 to complement Jalen Ramsey. Kader Kohu will be back in the nickel on that 1-year, $3.2 million deal, but you need a true CB opposite of Ramsey. You still need a left guard. Not doing Liam Eichenberg, and I'm not doing Larry Borum. If that's the case, if that's Chris Grier's plan, just fire him right now because it's going to be an utter disaster. I think you still need to add a true number 1 safety, whether that be in the draft or free agency. There's still a couple guys out there. And I would say an official tight end 2 is still needed for the Miami Dolphins. I like Pharaoh Brown, but I think he's a tight end 3 at best, who is a good blocker. I think he should replace Julian Hill in Miami, find a tight end 2, but that's probably going to be in the NFL draft. So, to fill some of these needs for Miami, here are the top 10 free agent targets for Miami Dolphins, in my opinion. This is spanning across all of the positions of need. I know I have Charles Omenihu on here, who's an edge, but I do think Miami might be interested in signing another edge for cheap. It was obviously rumored that they were linked to Joey Bosa, so there is a clear want for them to have an edge. Julian Blackmon's on this list. I don't think Miami signs another safety in free agency, if I'm going to be honest. I think they use their top 100 picks. They have 3 of them to draft one. But Blackmon's still out there. If you get him for cheap, I think you should look into that. Gilmore, Douglas, and Asante Samuel Jr. are my top 3 corners that the Dolphins could sign in free agency. Then Gilmore's cheap. I'm intrigued on Samuel's that injury history, concussion, shoulder injuries, but he's a really good man-to-man corner. Rasul Douglas, kind of the opposite. Veteran who's had success in different systems, good zone corner. And then you see the guys on the left. Brandon Scherf, Daniel Brunskill, and Will Hernandez are the top 3 offensive linemen that I'm targeting. I know Tevin Jenkins, I know Mekhi Becton are out there, but I think these 3 fit better in the Dolphins system and will fit their price tag better that Miami's looking for. And then if you re-sign Calais Campbell and Benito Jones on the defensive line, I would not complain about that. All right, you saw the top 10 guys across multiple positions that I think the Dolphins could go after. But let me know, who is your top free agent target that is still available for the Miami Dolphins? Get down in the comment section and let me know your thoughts right now. All right, before we round out today's show, I did want to share this piece of news that came in as well. Former Raiders assistant GM Champ Kelly, who has had multiple GM jobs across the league and interviewed with them, is joining the Dolphins organization as a senior personnel executive working in both pro and college scouting. I'm actually very excited about this move for Miami. I think he is a really good replacement for Reggie McKenzie, who, if you remember and have been subscribed to the channel, we told you left for the Titans front office earlier in the offseason. Champ Kelly also has really good ties with tight end Michael Mayer, who's on the trade block from the Las Vegas Raiders. He was part of their drafting process of Mayer in the 2nd round at Notre Dame. Miami could look to trade one of their multiple day 3 picks to get Mayer from Las Vegas. You add him to this roster, and you have a tight end room of Smith, Mayer, Pharaoh Brown, Julian Hill, with Brown and Hill fighting for that final tight end 3 roster spot. Yeah, that's a pretty solid room. But either way, Champ Kelly is a good addition to this Dolphins front office. And that's why you subscribe to the channel, because whether it's a signing, whether it's a move to the coaching staff or the front office, we will have you covered with videos every single day around the Miami Dolphins. So hit that sub button and join us right now.